What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, August 31st, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside my Irish cream, Danny O'Dwyer. What is this shirt, Murder Island?
Murder Island, some hot giant bomb.
Some hot giant bomb stuff?
Did you ever watch their Murder Island? If you want pro tips on how to die as a group.
In PUBG? How to just get clowned out?
Watch Murder Island.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Dan Reichert's he's not impressing?
Dan's got a lot of solo chicken dinners, I've heard.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if he's managed to grab some hot group ones. I got a group one with Will Smith.
I saw that. You were tweeting out about that the other day. Will Smith was over there on the twitch.tv.
Yeah, we had a good one. We transported into the most remote, worst part of the map, and then the circle was on the other side.
Great.
So most of the time just trying to get back there.
Yeah.
Chasing the blue, and then we ended up getting a real good crate drop and murdering fools at the end.
Damn.
So it was good.
Did you win? You won? You were all there?
Yeah. I got so pumped from it, I've literally not played since.
You're like, go out on a high note. Just be done with it. You're up, you're on. I understand. I respect that.
I want to go to PAX West feeling good.
I did the opposite last night where I played everybody's golf for the entirety of the night, and then when I was like on my final like tournament trying to get, I'm in golf level 4 or whatever right now, or ranking 4 or whatever they call it,
the Japanese Golf Association or whatever.
I started I'm getting tired, my reflexes are dulling, I should bail, and then Barrett and Andy were getting ready to play an online round. I'm like, I'll do it, and it was just literally like just down. I'm shanking it into the fucking trees. I'm like, I should have just gone to bed. Why didn't I go to bed?
Just, that muscle, the
you know how it is.
Muscle fibers, you need it. You need it for that.
You need it right there. It's a Twitch kind of game. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. You can get it all sorts of places, like twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, where you can watch us record it live. But remember, we don't interact with the chat because we're making a polished podcast. You have to head over to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. You can tell us what we get wrong as we say it. That way, at the end of the show, we can set the record straight for everyone who will watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listen on podcast services around the globe. Remember, no matter where you get it, thank you so much for your support. If I could ask for a little bit more, it'd be awesome if you went to patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Just give us a buck. You'd get party mode early. You'd get a whole bunch of other stuff too. It helps out. For now, a bit of housekeeping. Danny.
Yeah?
PAX is this weekend.
It's almost upon us. I'm leaving tomorrow.
You're flying up tomorrow to the Emerald City.
The Emerald Isle.
The Emerald City.
Murder Island.
Well, no, they call it Emerald City. The Emerald City up there. You know that? They got Emerald City Comic Con.
Because it's so green?
Mossy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it is quite mossy.
That's probably what it is.
Damp as well. Damp like an otter's pocket.
I was gonna roll with the damp stuff. I've never heard damp as an otter's pocket. It makes sense.
Between this and the caca and the cream,
this one I believe is an idiom.
Okay.
This one I believe damp as an otter's pocket is a real thing.
I got animal idioms for days.
You do, apparently. That's a big thing. Anyways, you're headed up tomorrow. I'm headed up Saturday. There's a bunch of stuff happening. Saturday night at 8:30, I'm doing the Batman Telltale Games crowd play. You should come, get in line. I'll call on you for decisions. Afterwards, let's get drinks. Sunday at noon, Danny's hosting a Witcher panel. Sunday at noon, I'm doing a signing at the Rooster Teeth booth. And then Sunday at 5, I'm doing a panel about cancer. A real uplifting jam.
Right.
For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. I believe a first ever on Kinda Funny Games Daily. 2 items on the Roper's Report.
That's not much at all.
That's not a baker's dozen at all. I was surprised. One of these could arguably be deals of the day, but everybody's getting ready for PAX, I guess, and it's just that quiet period as we get ready for the thing. First one comes from another first for Kinda Funny Games Daily, the South China Morning Post. They put up an interview.
That's where I go for my video game news.
With Thomas Bach, president of the International Olympic Committee. It's all about eSports coming to maybe one day the Olympics. Who'd they let in? I'm going to read a majority of the article. Of course, go check out the South China Morning Post.
I mean,
give them a big old
if you don't already.
Yeah, of course. I found this via IGN, so shout out to them. Thomas Bach, president of the International Olympic Committee, said in an exclusive interview that the games, and this being the Olympic Games, had welcomed several new sports that are popular with millennials, but on esports, despite their stellar rise, it would have to proceed with caution. Quote, we want to promote non-discrimination, non-violence, and peace among people. This doesn't match with video games, which are about violence, explosion, and killing. And there we have to draw a clear line, he said. Esports that mirror those played in real life, like soccer or basketball, could be considered for the Olympics. But those that involve gratuitous violence and bloodshed went against, quote-unquote, Olympic values, Bach said. So if ever somebody is competing at playing football virtually or playing other sports virtually, this is of high interest. We hope that then these players are really delivering sports performance. If fans at the end would even play the sports in the real world, we would be even more happy, he said. The multi-billion-dollar video game industry has already succeeded in gaining inclusion in the 2022 Asian Games in Hangzhou?
Yeah.
Thank you. China has already recognized esports as a legitimate form of competition, and there have been discussions on whether to include them in China's national games. But Xinhao commentary on the subject published on Sunday said that the short life cycles of some video games, driven by the need for companies to keep making money and the difficulty of establishing clear rules of competition, complicated their inclusion. Paris, which is soon to be formally announced as the host city for the 2024 Olympic Games, has not ruled out the possibility of including esports as a medal event, but Bach said it was still too early to say. Quote, these discussions are going on. It will take some time because this industry is now shaping itself, Bach said. It is a successful industry, but it's not yet really established in an organizational way. One of the major concerns was the lack of industry regulators to ensure video game players follow standardized rules, he said. You have to have somebody who is guaranteeing you these athletes doing sports games are not doped, that they are following technical rules, that they are respecting each other. On selecting new sports for the Olympics to attract younger people, Bach said his criteria included whether they were widely practiced and whether they offered equal opportunity for men and women and for developing countries. For the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2020, the committee picked 5 new sports: skateboarding, surfing, sports climbing, karate, and baseball/softball as a single entity. From 21 bidders. Quote, attracting young sports is not an issue. It's more about selecting the right ones, Bach said. Despite being the world's most watched multi-sporting event, the Olympic Games is losing young audiences on television. It goes on then to go through a whole bunch of demographics about how TV viewership's down, but then they're like, but the silver lining is that
our gifts are huge.
In this other interview this other poll, kids are saying they are paying attention to them on social media and such and so on, like that. So,
lots to unpack.
A long article to unpack, but I'll let Chuck kick it off, who wrote into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, violent video games don't belong in the Olympics, says the president of the International Olympic Committee. Big deal or overblown? Personally, I hope to see a day where we can finally not have to defend video games as an entertainment medium and just let it be what it is. Danny, what did you take away from the South China Morning Post hot take?
Okay, there's lots to unpack. Let's go with what Chuck said there and sort of start with the violence thing.
Sure. This doesn't match with video games, which are about violence, explosions, killing, and there we have to draw a clear line.
Which is the quote that I saw reported on most video game websites in the immediate aftermath. But with the context of what he said immediately after, which was saying that that's some video games, but other esports that mirror those played in real life, like soccer or basketball, could be considered for the Olympics. Okay. You can easily draw a comparison with violent things, like, for instance, fencing is a sport based on swordplay. Wrestling is a sport based on fighting.
The triathlon? One of them has you where you ski, you shoot, shoot a gun.
That's the winter triathlon.
I think so.
And then I'm not sure. Decathlon might.
Oh, that might be it. That might be it.
Have the shooting in it, which is the craziest sport in all of them. People who do that are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So you could say that. But I think where the biggest comparison that I would have had for this would have been something like chess, which is a sport which is a sport, quote unquote. It's that fringe element that video games sort of has a similar thing with, which has also never succeeded in getting in the Olympics. They tried it again they're trying at the moment for 2024. It's probably not going to make it. That and drafts, I think they're always trying to get in, and it never really happens. The violence aspect to it, I can see that they might not necessarily want to have video. Like, what are we talking about? StarCraft, probably, things like that.
I mean, like, Overwatch is what sprung to mind, right, for me. I'm sure Dota, like, and stuff like that, in terms of what is already a huge esport and people are really behind.
Firing guns. Like, I can see how the Olympics, which likes to see itself as a unifying sort of global, regardless of how much, what the development nature of your country or what gender you are, whatever, they try and be very, very inclusive. The reality being that it's an organization that goes around bankrupting cities around the world every 4 years.
Sure. Hey, build us this giant thing.
Right. So, in terms of the violence part of it, fair enough. Like, they get to pick which sports are happening. I get that is the case. That, you know, Battlegrounds probably wouldn't fit well with.
Right,
it would stand out, right? And if you're trying to get games into the Olympics, like, you need the game that needs to go in needs to be one which games are already weird. And when you look at that, like, the Olympics is weird already, but video games would be a massive outlier in terms of the way it's presented, the way it's played, all that sort of stuff. So if you're going to do that, there's plenty of really good sports-natured games. Let's get Rocket League in there.
Sure.
Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with them.
My whole thing,
over the violence.
I mean, the whole thing about it, right, is starting from top level. Like, we don't know if eSports is for the Olympics. I'm a huge video game fan, if you haven't noticed, and I agree.
Yeah.
Do we really? I'm with Chuck, right? I think Chuck's saying, like, you know, personally, I hope to see the day we can finally not have to defend video games as an entertainment medium. Just let it be what it is.
Right.
I hope we can see too that, like, with all due respect to esports athletes, esports competitors, there's a difference between that and the Olympics. And for me personally, if the Olympics would have come out today, out of the blue, and been like, we are adding Overwatch, we are having an Overwatch, I would have been like, what a fucking pandering move. As 100%. You desperately try to recover the audience that you're losing and do these different things. I don't think we need to see it bend to the will of what in the moment we consider sport. Like, chess is a great example of chess has never made it, and chess has never been an Olympic thing because
it's an ancient game about warfare.
Is it a game? Does it take skill? Does it you know what I mean? Like, a mind that's way more brilliant than mine, more tactical than mine, of course, but that's not the same thing as throwing a shot put or going bobsledding. Like, and I'm not interested at all in the Olympics, and it also wouldn't be that thing where I'm looking for video games to be the gateway drug into that. And I think the Olympic Games can be different than video games and us not feel like we have to merge them together.
Yeah.
At a top level.
Totally.
And then I understand then for Bach to come in and have this quote, right, of this doesn't match with video games, which are about violence, explosions, and killing. Like, what? And I understand, first off, I understand
being... bad line.
I understand being completely outside of an industry. It's similar to me talking about the Olympics, or if I wanted to talk about bobsledding, I'd say something stupid, I'm sure, about bobsledding. I understand being old, probably not growing up with the video games.
Right.
And I understand with, like, he probably said a whole bunch, like you're saying, like right on the other side of this, he's talking about, well, basketball, soccer, maybe those games would work.
He contextualizes it in a way.
But it's like you get interviewed and they pull that quote, and you did say it and you do mean it, but it's just like, what a shitty off fucking handed thing to say.
And it's a super easy one to refute because you go back to the like inception of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, it was essentially a
fight for your life.
Well, it was essentially like what, you know, soldiers did in the off season. It was a peaceful sort of way of finding who the best was.
The best country was.
In Roman days, in terms of it just being like actually who was our best like soldier. Like, I'm probably butchering history as well, apologies, but like, you know, that sort of old, you know, it's easy to refute that, but taking the wider context of it, I think there's some other way bigger things that are stopping games from getting in. One, it's the short life cycle of these sports, these games. Like, you cannot. What do? Do you introduce esports as a category and then change the sport every year?
Every year there's a different game in there. And that's another thing again where I'm thinking, why even bother doing this when the fact that esports and the competitions that go, whether it's the international or whether it is, you know, Rocket League doing its thing now, whether it is Overwatch, like, you're establishing this on your own. It's I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people, but like, I don't look at the Olympics. I'm like, why isn't American football in there? Like, American football, the NFL is just fine. It doesn't need to worry about pandering to the Olympics and getting in there.
But even if you think about something like American football, like, okay, it's an industry, and obviously there are people that make money off it, and the NFL is a very big organization and XYZ. But there is a certain element to that, even if it's not necessarily independent, that is trying to create a even playing field or create a sport that is competitive. Video games, we love them, but they are inherently not about that. They are about making money. So a game like Rocket League isn't good because of it's not a good experience because of the purity of the play. It's a good experience because they're trying to get people to enjoy themselves and keep playing the game. And obviously individual developers are not, you know, trying to trick people into playing games, but the overall, the biggest influential force within games is popularity and money. And that's not necessary. That doesn't line up with sports very well, especially when sports existed before, you know, in some sort of form, and then regulatory bodies came in to make them fair and even them out and all that sort of stuff. And that's not how games work. Games are in this weird in between sports and movies, almost like, or entertainment. And I think that becomes a massive problem. First of all, and then like also just between not having any sort of regulation on the sports and then the fact that they have such short life cycles, it's not. I mean, we're talking about chess as an alternative. Chess as a sports or a game that's existed for thousands of years and has largely not changed much, at least in the past couple of hundred years. So I think that's a big problem. Also, the fact that they are very, like, I was in London during the London Olympic Games. When they introduce new sports, they're very sensitive about the whole fact that developing countries can get into it as well, right? There are certain sports that are very popular because of, you know, their relative small water or barrier to entry, right?
That's why soccer's so popular, right? Yeah. There's soccer ball and then put 2 trash cans or rocks or whatever to the side to be goals.
Totally. You can just wrap up a couple of plastic bags or kick a, you know, pig's head around. You've basically got football, right?
Yeah.
So don't kick a pig's head around.
No, but if you had to, I understand.
Right. Whereas, like, obviously that's not the case with video games.
Yeah.
So 100%. I see that.
It speaks to this, I think, just the difference in these things where it's like what you're talking about, the turnover and how fast this all moves, the fact that our industry, and I would say our world, the world we exist in on a day-to-day basis, moves so fast.
Yes.
That why do we care if it's included in this thing every 4 years? And then I guess really it would be what? We're not going to be in both the Olympic and the winter.
Right.
So it's what? It's only it's not going to be the summer and the winter games. So it's once every 8 years you're actually getting around to playing your Rocket League for your gold medal. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Olympic athletes train 4 years for like a weekend. Or 4 years for a month, right? That's the nature of it. When Game of the Year comes around in December, most of us have forgotten that Horizon came out. You know what I mean? Like that's the sort of timeline we work on. And one of the biggest problems they have, I mean, for Evo every year is picking out which games to have in there. Like, how do we do that over 4 years? How do they say, oh, okay, can you imagine if they said today, oh, we're going to have Overwatch in the next Olympics in like 2024.
Yeah,
like,
right.
We're like, oh, we'll all be playing like Destiny 7 by then. That'll be the hot new ticket, or Red Dead Redemption Online or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
it's every 2 years. All right, cool. I fucked that up.
Which
I was when I said every 8 years. Yeah, every 4 years you do the summer, and then
or winter.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's there's just 2 years off where there's not an Olympics, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's a 2.5 year.
Yeah,
of the winter element of it. But yeah, so I don't know how they plan that ahead. What would they do for the winter? What would the winter esport be?
Ice climbers. Speed run and ice climbers.
Winter games or
it's an interesting thing, but yeah, I think it's. I personally don't know if there is a spot for esports in the Olympics. Because even when he boils it down to like, oh yeah, well if they were playing soccer, like we're gonna play FIFA, right? Gonna be a FIFA, and like what happened when FIFA in the 4 years changes some element mechanic of it? Does that matter, or does it have to be the Olympic sport now is FIFA 2018 and that's it going forward, that we're using this every year because it's standardized and it's normal and the rules haven't drastically changed? It's
tough because so many of this, I mean, the more complex the game as well, the more chance there is for things like exploits. Like we saw it at the Gamescom PUBG stuff, is that a lot of the group teams were using exploit, you know, basically sort of fudging the game to not play in the most sporting way by hiding behind the blue line and taking bunches of boosts. So like they don't want that stuff either. So I don't know.
How did that benefit them?
Oh, because then they could just like hide until the end and then basically come out. Like nobody really, it didn't really work for a lot of people, but it was getting them into that last sort of last 10
echelon,
and then having to, you know, roll of the dice. If I was to pick any game that they should do
Solitaire
this for, that's not a bad shout, or you could say Tetris or something, which is basically never changed, right? But like imagine like Street Fighter 2. Like, or probably you'd want to do like Hyper Fighting or something, but like that type of like classic game which has existed,
has existed and proliferated, and everybody wants to play it, and it's there year after year.
Yeah,
that's right. I said proliferated.
Yeah, that's like wrestling as well.
Yeah, it's interesting in general just to see that the Olympics are actually commenting on video games and esports, which shows you how much it's changed.
It is cool, and to Chuck's point about will we have to defend games as an entertainment medium. Like in comparison to when we were growing up, I feel like we're kind of there already.
Yeah, and
like
that's
80% of the way.
It feels so, you know, I mean, and that was the thing when like Roger Ebert came out and said video games weren't art and got like laughed out of the room.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, and like then he's apologized since then. Like, well, he had.
Yeah.
It's that thing of what I always say, and the other thing I always go back to is that eventually every old person's gonna die.
Yeah,
and then we're eventually going to have just people who grew up with video games forever, and they're not, you know, the parental advisory rap music. They're not the heavy metal music. They're not rock and roll. Like we've lived through all this, and we'll be okay. And like you know how this works.
And we don't need the Olympics to legitimize that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we're already legitimate in terms of an industry and stuff. Just not in terms of this esport is a quote unquote real sport. It needs to be in the Olympics.
Compare the international with pick any of the sports like top 10 sports of the Olympics.
Yeah.
For their biggest turnout.
Yeah.
And there's your answer.
Yep. Speaking of Street Fighter, a second ago, this could have been deals of the day, but I think it's interesting enough to be its own report
I'm also not necessarily sure if it's a deal.
Good point too. Street Fighter 2 is getting a 30th anniversary edition from IM 8-bit for $100. What's in it? Thanks for asking. As a Street Fighter 30th anniversary surprise, Capcom and IM8 fist bumped. This is off the official page to create this ultimate premium throwback relic, a brand new, freshly manufactured limited edition of Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo Entertainment. For the new, they didn't put the Super Nintendo Entertainment System compatible hardware, featuring one of 2 colored cartridges, each housing the original game code and fully playable on NTSC consoles. But that's just the beginning. The Legacy Cartridge Collection embodies retro-inspired luxury, amplifying the core SNES box design with a glistening foil sheen, delicately embossed texture, chic spot varnish, and an innovative tri-fold cover that opens to reveal bonus vintage art. Inside, we're keeping it old school by restoring the contents of the original instruction booklet, complete with a new archival cover print and secret pack-ins to be revealed when you crack that shrink wrap seal. So it's limited to 5,500. Of those, 4,500 are opaque Ryu headband red, and the other are translucent glow-in-the-dark Blanca green. That's 1,000 of them total. It's a blind grab. If you order these and you get one for $100, they're randomly sent to you. You don't know which one you get.
I love that.
It's a real cartridge.
$100 and it's random.
How do you feel about this, Danny? Sounds like you got some opinions.
I think it's cool that somebody's making an SN. I mean, we know what the game of the year for SNES is going to be already. So, I mean, actually, it'll probably be next year, considering IM8-bit take forever to get stuff out. And I don't feel bad saying that because I actually buy quite a. Not I don't buy a lot, but I have a lot of things. My vinyl collection is a lot of it is from IM8-bit stuff, right? So I actually really like IM8-bit. I recently got the Sunset Riders vinyl, which actually went missing from them. It was in a crate that got they thought stolen from a shipyard, but then they ended up finding it like a month after, like using dozens of people to look through all these containers. They found all the vinyls.
Wow.
So I got it this week along with some other stuff. So I like IM8-bit, but like when they went, they probably approached Capcom to do this whole thing, and this is where it ended up shaking out.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish that maybe it didn't cost $100. Like, it doesn't need to cost $100. Like, you could have made. I guess this is for the super fan, and it's a cool thing to have. And if I was a Street Fighter 2 fan, I am a Street Fighter 2 fan, but if I was a hardcore, I'd be all over this. But I just kind of wish they brought it down to like a $50 normal game price, because it's a fucking cartridge.
Yeah, but
for
I mean,
a
those
game that's available on everything for like $2.
I do not know how easy are cartridges to manufacture and make these days.
That's fair.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like those components are they're everywhere, but they're not everywhere like they were when you're making an SNES cartridge.
It's like buying VHS tapes now. They cost like 4 times.
I mean, I'm personally, and I think then it works. The system works. The fact that you're like, you wish it was cheaper, but it's not, so you won't buy it. Good. It's gonna go to 55, 100. If this was, they were fucking putting out, Death and Return of Superman or No Mercy again, or I guess I have No Mercy boxed right there. But you know what I'm saying? In terms of, if it was a game I couldn't get enough of that they were going back and giving this treatment to, I'd want to be all over it. And I wouldn't want it to be like just someone who's a casual fan to be like, oh yeah, I'll pick that up or whatever. I want it to be that I'd be probably figuring out how to try to buy 2, get out there, figure out how to get both cartridges, and I'm sure they're all about. I think it's a really cool idea, especially for something as epic as a 30th anniversary for a game that's lived this long, that people want this badly.
I think it's the right way to do the anniversary edition. I think it's really smart and clever, and instead of just repackaging the game and putting it, I mean, there's probably no game that's had more remakes than Street Fighter 2 or re-releases. Certainly on releases on different platforms. So it is a cool way of doing it. I think personally it's probably it's too high in that.
Good,
and IM8-bit do sell stuff that's like everywhere from like $20 all the way up to like, I think the No Man's Sky ship
the
thing they did was about
140
maybe or something.
Like that,
so and I like what they do, and I like that company. But yeah, it's just a little bit too much for me.
Well, good
to see what other people think.
I'm sure they're gonna buy it and love it.
We can't know because we don't do chat on this show.
No, I mean, I'm sure you're Street Fighter 2. If I think it's cool and I have no attachment to it,
I think it's
You
cool,
have an
but it's-
attachment to it. You just wish it was cheaper. That's your problem.
Yeah, because I have so many copies of Street Fighter 2 at home that are like so cheap.
Well, you're not even gonna open this one, probably. That's the thing. Will you
No,
ever
'cause
even
I
know
always
what's in
do.
there?
I always open the things. I
I
can't
appreciate
do
that.
that shit.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ugh.
If I want to know what new games were out, Danny, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every week, motherfucking day.
Fucking out today. Life is Strange Before the Storm, Episode 1 on Xbox One, PS4, PC. Heads
Should have
up.
Jen here. She was already playing a bunch of it this morning.
I beat it this morning.
Oh, you did?
Jen's fibbing a bit online there, where she's
Okay.
like, I've started my second playthrough just to get to this scene. I'm like, woman, you watched me play it this morning, but okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, played it this morning. Gonna talk about it today when we record Gamescast in the afternoon. If you're a patreon.com/kindoffunnygames person, you can watch live for $1. You can get it tomorrow if you're a Patreon person. You can get it Monday for free if you want. Short version.
Yeah.
Good,
Awesome.
dude. Really good. I think it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
That's
which
good.
is really, for me as a Life is Strange fan, I'm impressed. Detention comes to PlayStation 4. Last day of June comes to PlayStation 4. This one might stand
That
out.
was about a month late.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
This one might stand out. This is one of my games
much
from E3 where I was like, oh, hey, that's an awesome game. It's on my short list. I have it with everybody's golf hitting. I haven't had time to play. I
What
believe
is it? Looks pretty.
everybody's. Okay, so last day of June. Here's what you need to know, Dan.
Okay.
It is from the guy who made Murasaki Baby.
Okay.
It is based on the art style of like Frankenweenie. I think they brought over one of the
Right.
artists or art director from that to work on this as well. And it's got that, like claymation kind of style to it. You're playing through as this guy with the spectacles. I don't want to get too much into the story and ruin anything for anybody. Well, I'm going to ruin a little bit.
2D platformer?
No, it's 3D, moving
Okay.
him around, doing stuff. There's no voice work to it.
Right.
Instead, it's like, it's like people,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's like you connect with it. And it's, from what I played at E3 at Judges Week, like it's this really somber tale, and
cool.
it's gonna go in. It's starts with you super happy, and then things don't go that way, and then you playing through. And I think what they told me at the time was you then go back in time and try to change it. So,
cool.
But not through like the mechanic of like rewinding time. I haven't played that part. I've just played the first part, and literally when I put that on the controller, I'm like, yes, I'm
Okay.
all in. This is a Greg Miller fucking game. Like this is what I want. The rumor I've heard in the street, and why I haven't started is about 4 hours, a little bit more, somewhere in there, four hours ish. When I'm like, well, I got to golf. And then this morning I was like, well, I can knock out, the 2 hours of Life is Strange. Like that's how I've been budgeting my time. However, I saw reviews starting to post for it, and they were like, meh,
Oh, really?
6s, 7s, but I'm still definitely I don't know how it shakes out beyond it, but the first impression I had of it was so, holy shit, this game's gonna be cool. That I'm definitely in, and I don't know what other reviews are saying or why. I haven't read anything. I'm trying to stay blackout on it, but
Right.
I'm excited to actually get a shot to play it, but I guess it'll have to be after PAX now.
All right. Interested to hear what you have to say about it.
The Lost Bear comes to PlayStation VR. Oh, that sounds good. Give me a search on The Lost Bear, because maybe that's another easy platinum trophy. I can't tell. Maybe it's going to be a Scary Bear game, because there was another Scary Bear game.
That's the thing. I was just thinking that's not the one we talked about yesterday.
It's not
'cause
the Scary Bear game.
There was like a first-person Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right, that looked
kinda
bad.
looking thing.
Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack comes to Switch. League of Eagle, I'd play that. League of Evil comes to Switch. Zed Blade, which is another one of them Neo Geo classics, come to Switch. The Destiny app has been updated, so you can get that now and get ready for Destiny 2. I guess it's more like a social networking thing, more communication, more like Reddit, more like Twitter. There's trending stuff. It seems interesting.
Hey, it worked for Splatoon.
Yeah. Well, wait, no, it didn't. Everybody hated that. That's not good at all.
The Lost Bear. It's like a 2D platformer, but it's
Okay.
also in
VR?
VR. It's like playing on a stage or something. The art style is fantastic.
This looks interesting.
I think that's like you're playing on the stage, and then when you look around, the world is around you as well.
Oh.
Check out a trailer.
All
Difficult
right,
to-
Lost Bear. You have piqued my interest.
There's a lot of PSVR stuff. I'm getting to the point now where I'm like,
Hell yeah.
I need to get one just because
Join
there's so
us.
much software there.
Yeah, I think what I got to do is Jen's sister, so my sister-in-law, comes through next week to hang out.
Okay.
And when she leaves, I might stealthily build out the guest room there to have the VR just standing, because that's what I had in the old when we moved to this studio.
Yes.
I took the third bedroom in the old place and
Right.
made that into a VR room.
Yeah.
And just do it here and just don't tell Jen.
Black out the walls.
Exactly. No, I don't even need to get that crazy. Niantic and the Pokemon Company have also announced that they are adding legendary Pokemon Raikou,
Sure.
Entei,
Yeah.
and Suicune to
Suicune.
Pokemon Go starting today. So you can go get those, you goddamn Pokemon nerds. Speaking of Pokemon nerds, Greg Wade J. Jackson wrote into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, is there such a thing as too much content in a game? Hi, Greg and Danny. I think that's the tandem. I have a bad memory. You nailed it. Tomorrow's Tim. The local Pokemon Go raid group in my area of Memphis, Tennessee. And I'd like to point out again,
I love that sentence is my favorite
the local Pokemon Go raid group in my area of Memphis, Tennessee. Fuck yes.
That's fucking so good.
Yes, Jay.
Can I get that on a shirt?
You know that I'm joking around about Pokemon nerds. Well, I mean, I'm a nerd for a million things. We're all nerds. That's fucking awesome.
That's so cool.
That is the kind of video game shit I fucking adore.
Yeah.
The local Pokemon Go raid group in my area of Memphis, Tennessee has been as active as ever, with the legendary Pokemon raids going, and with the Niantic's announcement of 3 more legendaries on top of Mewtwo coming to the game. You'd think that most of us would be ecstatic, but after the news came out this morning, some people voiced the need for a break, and some people said, quote, they are giving us too much content too fast. I think that adding more legendaries would be a good thing since some legendaries are disappearing, but maybe I just like the excitement of adding more Pokemon to my collection. After this response from the group, I must ask the question, is there such a thing as too much content in a game? Keep making dope content. Jay.
I think Jay's onto something.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like there is a very intentional when you have this sort of games as service thing.
Yeah,
and like you can go back to World of Warcraft is probably the biggest version and oldest version of that.
Of course,
right?
the longest running.
Totally. So like that's a game that had content for people to keep playing. I mean, you could keep re-rolling characters in different classes in different parts of the world and different races and keep playing and have a fucking great old time. But they also had expansion packs coming out I guess it was probably every 2.5 years then eventually, right?
Yeah.
And those were kind of like the I don't know, the tent poles that you kind of popularity went in
Mists
and around.
of Pandaria is coming out.
Totally.
Well, and everybody run back, yeah.
And probably the best, and I criticize Destiny a lot, but probably the best modern version of that is Destiny. Destiny has done a really good job of having these content packs and DLCs come out that get a lot of people back in, right? Yeah. And I remember, I forget there was the quote that was saying something along the lines of, like, we don't mind if people leave playing Destiny. If they get their full and then they go and play something else, it's like a palate cleanser, and then we release a new piece of content and it gets them back in. And I think that's like a good thing, especially for a game like Pokemon Go, which is probably relatively grindy and repetitive and also involves a sort of social element. I think having downtime or having more intentional pacing between these big tentpole events is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So maybe too much too soon.
Yeah, I can see it both ways, and I mean the problem is with using Pokemon Go as examples. I don't think we're firm enough we don't have our feet in the community enough to really know. For me, it seemed like when the Pokemon Go Fest came up before, and when we just got announced that Chicago, all these different places, I was like, oh wow, that's cool. I can't believe there's so many people still playing it, and so many of you wrote in that you were still playing that. There was still a thing, and I would think that this is them, Niantic and the Pokemon Company, trying to ride that wave still of like it was like, hey, we're doing something cool. Oh my God, it's a disaster. Okay, no, we're releasing it to everybody. We're making good. Okay, everything's good again. So here's more good news for you that we're continuing to roll this out that way. If Jay and his friends are saying that, then I would think there is something to it in terms of, like you can drown in that. I know for me, like what I can talk to is like DC Universe Online in the way that like the 700 hours I put into that game were grand and I loved it, but I'll never go back because now when I've booted up before, like I'm gonna jump back in and it's just overwhelming. Everything I've missed, and it's like I'm now 5 armor tiers behind anybody, and it's like Jesus, I can't sit back down and put in another 700 hours to get back up to that.
Rocket League's probably similar for you as well.
Exactly,
you played a bunch at launch, right?
Yeah.
There's like 5 different game modes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that was the thing I was talking about with Minecraft, right? Where it was Brian and I did the Let's Plays for IGN, loved him playing on PS3 and Vita. And then once I left, I pretty much solely played on Vita. And so when I finally downloaded the Switch version, I was like, I was on a plane. I was like, I'll just check in and see how good it looks. And I was like, what the fuck is this game? Like this game is like, there's people everywhere now. I'm getting attacked at all times. And there's so many more textures and things and bond. Like this is so beautiful. And it's just like, wow, I was playing such a handicapped version of Minecraft on the Vita that I had no idea what I was missing with like what I could have been playing on PC, what I could have been playing on PS4 eventually.
Yeah, it's funny. Like video games probably more than a lot of other mediums have that sort of ramping problem where like you need to be very aware of different people's ability to take on that much information, right? Some people are more than happy to jump into a super complex game and like figure it out and learn it and stuff. And then there are other people, which is probably similar to us, who play a lot of games who then kind of need that slow progression. And you get it in other stuff, like, when you buy a book and it's thick, or like you look at the word size, or you're like sitting down to have a movie at nighttime and you're like, I'm in the mood for 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You pause it and it's like 2.5, it's 2:15. You're like, I can't do this right now.
That's too much, right?
Yeah.
And like, what is that? Like, that's just finding like your comfort zone with the experience you're about to have. And I feel like that's a really important part of games. And the longer games are out, then that stuff can get messy. Making content's really hard. Pacing it's really hard. I certainly suffered with that with No Clip, or with times where we had loads of videos out and then I didn't put it in there for a month because we just did too much.
Sure.
Right now I'm sitting on so many edits and trying to get it out, and my audience probably wants it paced out this way and I'm stuck this way. So I wonder if Niantic had a similar thing where they basically kind of shot the bed for 6 months.
Yeah.
Now they have the content pipeline to like get the stuff out, and maybe they just kind of put a bit too much out in one go. I don't know.
It's very much one of those things of getting the fire lit and then keeping it stoked without blowing it out, without putting too much in there.
Totally.
Because even right now, like, you have to serve so many different masters, right? It's the problem right now where it's like everybody's golf I'm playing and I love, right? But that middle section isn't for online isn't on, and people are saying on the Reddit, and I haven't bothered to investigate that's where online tournaments are going to be, and that they are coming. It's like, well, I want them fucking now. And it's like, today the Japanese site got put up on Reddit that there's like 2 courses coming, I think, in the teens of September or something, and it was like, awesome. Why isn't that now? You know what I mean? Like, I would rather binge it all right now. Even like Friday the 13th is one of those few things, or I guess one of the most recent example of a game I'm invested in and love, but have taken. Now I'm not on a downswing with it where I'm not playing it, but when they put out the new map, when they put out this new thing, I'm going to come back to it. I guess that's a good pace. But in the moment, if I was still playing Friday the 13th, and when it came out, and they were like, "Oh, I'm like, put the new map out now, put the new costumes out now," while I'm here, I want to binge, so I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Gauging that must be really difficult.
Sucks, yeah. I can't imagine.
I think about stuff like Zelda and Horizon, for instance. Right? I absolutely adored Horizon Zero Dawn. Went through it, almost platinumed. Absolutely loved it. Right. I was ready for a DLC expansion pack about 2 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's coming out in November. Fine. Zelda came out right after Horizon. The time when they had the DLC pack out was like spot on. If that was in the main game, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much because there's all this other stuff to do. But by the time I had like completed it and gotten all the stuff, then I was super happy to have this new experience. Just being like, here, there's 5 or 6 hours worth of stuff, or maybe 3 or 4. Like, go do it. Like, that type of pacing is so critical to.
It's that interesting where I feel like Horizon actually, for me, really hasn't down. Where it was, it was literally that finished it, platinum it, put it aside, played all the other things, and there was like a day where I was like, man, I really miss Horizon.
Yeah,
and I could go back and then it was like a week later where they were like, boom, our thing's coming and it's November. I'm like, I can wait. That's good. Thank you. That's a good tease.
You probably enjoy it more because of the wait as well.
Exactly.
Perhaps, like I'm sort of prophesizing more about it. I would have been hating to, like the Mario Kart DLC on Wii U. I was like, just release it, like forever. I was like, it's fucking race courses. I play this game all the time. Do it. Hard to judge always.
New dates for you, ladies and gentlemen. Oxenfree is coming to Switch. They'll have a date soon, but that's a heads up for you.
Good fit.
Did you love Oxenfree?
I didn't play enough of it because it felt like a game that I didn't want to be playing in front of my TV. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'll probably, or my PC. So I think I'll probably get that. Sonic
Forces is coming November 7th. In the name,
Sonic Forces.
Yeah, they're fucked. They're so fucked.
How do you feel? I forgot that game was coming out.
Yeah, I got to play Mania and Sonic Forces at Judges Week for the first time.
Okay.
And it was totally one of the things. Holy shit, Mania is awesome. And then Forces was like, this is what I think. This is modern Sonic games.
3D Sonic games.
Yeah, all right, cool. See you later.
What a hard act to follow.
And they're like, no, you get to customize your character. I'm like, all right,
yeah, get to make your own Sonic.
All right, see you later.
You got classic Sonic and you got 3D Sonic.
I don't want to do any of that. Bye. All right. It's one of those, like, there's,
I hope it's good. But
Sonic fans have never left Sonic, but it's like Sonic Mania was like, hey, everyone who's ever given a shit at any time about Sonic, here's something to be
right.
And it's also, but yeah, it's gonna get flogged because it's not Sonic Mania, and everybody's gonna be like, oh well, Sonic Mania was so much better.
That's a tough one.
In the Name of the Tsar DLC for Battlefield 1's coming on September 19th, September 5th for premium pass holders. What's funny about that?
I don't know. Just in the name of the Tsar.
In the name of the Tsar.
I hate just marketing things around the two Great Wars is just.
It's tough.
It's so weird to me. I don't know. Call of Duty World War II still just like fucking blows my mind.
Yeah, right. Switching over to deals of the day. This is not a deal, more of a charity thing. As you know, on Tuesday. Cool. Yeah, Tuesday, we did our thing for Hurricane Harvey. That you could, all the tips coming to us that day, blah, 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 was getting donated to the Red Cross. Bungie's doing something similar. Right now, up on Bungie's store, they have a pin and in-game emblem for Destiny 2 benefiting Hurricane Harvey victims. You can go there and get it for $15. Quite the steal. I bought it. Because I'm going to have little hearts now for my emblem.
That's nice.
When I get going.
Yeah, no, fair play, Bungie. That's good one.
Reader mail. Javier writes in and says, hi, Greg and Danny. Seeing as how PAX West is coming up and you have both been in the industry for a long time, I'd like to know, what does PAX mean to you? And what are some of your favorite memories? Greetings from Florida.
Man, I love PAX.
PAX is the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've started to try and do less.
Yep,
because
me too.
I kind of ruined PAX for myself there for a couple of years.
There's a reason Greg's only, hosting now, I guess, 2 panels. But when it used to be, hey, I'm on 7 things.
Yeah.
Come find me everywhere. The original plan was I was going to do my cancer panel because it's the 5-year anniversary and just come in that day and leave that day.
Yeah.
And then opportunities came around for the business where I was like, okay, I'll stay and do that. Right. But even Saturday through Monday morning is a much different schedule than it used to be of Thursday out Monday morning and we are fucking doing 13 panels a day, this meet and greet party, this thing. And that's the other thing too, of just getting old where it used to be, cool, where's the party at? Dave Lang, let's go, Bob. And now it's just like, all right, cool, go to bed. Can I get a nice dinner and go to bed? I'm going to go back to the house.
I stay now at an Airbnb away from everything.
Yeah.
So I leave.
You have to leave it.
Right,
That's very smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, I love PAX. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to, for us, it's meeting people who watch the stuff that we make.
Yeah.
But even before I was sort of would get noticed or whatever, it was meeting people who play games. I think for a lot of people, that was certainly my experience in Ireland, at least, was that you have your group of game friends, but you're not surrounded by game people all the time. So being able to go to PAX and have that experience for most people, I think is still really, really powerful.
Sure. My PAX for me starts embarrassingly. Why not embarrassingly? Nobody at some point nobody knows what anything is.
Right.
And I remember my first year or 2 at IGN. And I don't know how old PAX is, so maybe it's even more than that. Doesn't matter. Andre from GameSplain now, but he used to work at IGN with me. He would go up to PAX and participate. He would go up strictly for this Mario Kart tournament.
Right.
And he came back and I was like, how'd you do? And he's like, oh, we did this one. All right, cool. Well, how was PAX? I don't know anything about it. He's like, it's great. I have to turn my badge around when we go there. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, they hate IGN. If you have an IGN badge, this is 2007, 2008. So this is a long time ago. But I was like, really? And that was for me this moment where I'm like, I'm gonna go to PAX and make people care about IGN, understand that because that was always the thing at the time. IGN gave this game this score. IGN is a fucking corporate sellout. IGN is bought off, blah blah. Not that that's changed much, but now there's faces, Brian or Alana or whoever, people there, and the industry's changed so much. But to go there year after year. And it was that thing where there'd be years where IGN wouldn't send me, so I'd take the days off and fly myself up there and crash on Levi's floor, spare bed in his hotel or whatever. And it was that thing of it was vital to me. And I would come back every time. And this is still when IGN is very much we are an editorial, not warehouse. We're an editorial product. We're you're here to review games. You're here to this. The podcasts and videos weren't even a thing. Right. The podcasts and personalities isn't what this is about. Yeah. But I'd come back and be like, we got to send everyone possible to this, because what it constantly is, and what Kind of Funny best friends know, because we've talked our ear off about it, is the fact that it's always the vocal minority you hear from of you suck, this review sucks, you're terrible, blah 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 blah. That what motivates people to talk on the internet is discomfort, is anger.
Yeah,
it's never when you read an article, when you read an article or watch a video. Your first reaction is, man, that was great. Close it down, back to your life. You don't think to reach out and hit somebody up and say, hey, I really loved NoClip, or hey, I did this, and blah, blah. And again, this has changed. I'm mixing in modern references with the classic story. Yeah. But for where it was there, and what I would tell people is when I grew up, I went to Catholic school. And I remember this one time we were getting a speech from, I think, a priest about faith. Right. And it was the fact of when you are a child, the cup's really small. And so it's easy to fill, and you have the faith is there. Yeah. But as you get older, the cup gets bigger, and the water level's constantly rising. So your faith in this is something different. For me, it was always... For this analogy, going to PAX this was always refilling my cup of why I do this. Yeah, you go there and you meet. And again, it's changed now. Everybody tweets you, hits you up. There's Reddit threads about how great everything is. Yeah, but it was you'd go there and somebody would be like, "Hey, dude, Beyond gets me through the day," or "Hey, I listened to you on GameScoop and your divorce made me okay to get through my divorce." Right. And it was you had these connections. And what PAX means to me is it is the fan, it is the person going to PAX, it is the best friend I get to meet. It is the fucking best PAX story of all time for me is when Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker was out, and with the PlayStation blog, Jeff Rubenstein, we threw an event at Top Pot Donuts where everybody came and just fucking played Metal Gear together. You know what I mean? That was a dream come true of what I do and what I want. And to your point, growing up, I always remember being the video game guy in our group. Right. Poe liked video games. Everybody liked video games, but people weren't into video games like I was. And that's isolating. That sucks. And that's why I think, the kind of funny best friend thing works so well, but also why these conventions work so well.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of like, I don't know, again, different world. I don't know if I would have had the balls or the money or the whatever at, 18 in the late 90s to get into a plane, I guess a car, like, you know what I mean? Go by myself to meet other people there. But now it's easier and there's internet groups and yada, yada, yada. But like, I respect the hell out of the people that I see there who year after year come and meet and they have these friends. And this is like one of their things where they get together.
That's one of the reasons I think I adored PAX South the first year I went.
Yeah.
Because all those folks were like, about time.
Yep.
One for us,
Yep.
and they all came in from those, if they couldn't afford to fly, they drove. Like loads of them just drove hundreds of miles.
That was the thing, PAX West, I got too late. And, one of the parts of my cancer panel is the fact that like PAX West, once I found it and once that Andre conversation happened, I'm like, I'm fucking coming to PAX every year to shove this down their throat and show we're real people and da da da. And it worked and it was great. And then I had to miss one when I got sick. And that was the first time I had missed it. But I wasn't there at the start. I had been, and I think still have been, to every PAX East.
Right.
And that was awesome to go to that first PAX East and be like, the energy of these people who are like, this is awesome that this is here, and to see them year after year and see that convention grow, like that's awesome. Like PAX is fucking rad. That's all there is to
amazing.
it. Because it is just like, hey, boom, positivity in one giant building.
And I went to meet I guess I was sent by GameSpot to PAX East. It was the first time I did the first GameSpot panel that was ever at a PAX. I think I was working for the site like maybe 3 or 4 months, and then John Davison was like, yo, we're gonna fly you over, do a panel on your show or whatever. And I was like, why the fuck am I doing a panel? I've been in the industry, I think I was in the industry maybe 8 months by the time the show came around. But my favorite memory of that weekend was it was the first time I got to meet the Giant Bomb guys for the first
nice
time. And I had gotten the gig at GameSpot, being a fan of GameSpot for so long, and like largely with the support of lots of ex-GameSpot people on social media sort of pimping me when I ran Citizen Game and doing all that stuff. So when I went to the somewhere in Cambridge where they were doing like a rock band night thing. And I remember going to the bar, buying like 5 drinks or something, and then just like walking around. They were doing the panel, and I just walked up and slid them up to Jeff, and he went, "Oh, hi, Danny," and that was like. And then now, I went to Jeff's wedding. Like, now I get to call him a friend. But that was that moment. Like, that's what PAX is to me, is being able to like say thank you to people who had a massive impact on your life.
And that's the other thing too about it, where I know if you're young or haven't just been following for the decade that I've been doing this or whatever, it's insane to think about a time where no one talked to each other.
Right.
You used to exist in silos where IGN did not talk to GameSpot people and GameSpot people. And like, I remember Scott Butterworth. He was official PlayStation Magazine, and I was the PlayStation team. And him and I went on trip after trip after trip after trip, year after year after year, until finally one day at SFO, I was like, hey, I'm Greg. And like we had stood in the room and like it was like, oh, he's cool. Oh, great. Like it was that these things where it's like, now granted, it's I think the fact that everyone who grew up reading a site or reading EGM or reading whatever is now that makes up those sites, those whatever the fuck this is and everything else, where it's like you get it and you understand it, and like there's so much cross-pollination and it's all moving around that it's like, but PAX is a big part of that, of getting to go hang out and of going to go do the PAX Rumble or something, and you're suddenly horsing around with people you would never get to horse around with. You know what I mean? Like, when am I gonna fucking be at half top screaming at Austin Walker other than when we're doing that kind of crap? And that's how I meet Austin, and he's a great dude, and we're all like, we're friends, or well, acquaintances. I'm not going to as friends. I like him. He likes me.
Friends.
But you know what I mean? It's not like we're calling each other, sitting there painting our nails, talking at night about, hey, man, how's it going? Did you get your chicken dinner?
Yeah. If you see us at PAX, come up and say hey.
Yeah, come up and say hey. Remember,
I got
one
all
more
these
time.
stickers. I'm handing out all these stickers.
Ooh, can I get one?
Sure.
Okay. I want, hold on.
Which one? Color,
You're
color
giving
or
them
black
all?
and white?
Oh, I want the black and white.
Black one?
Yeah.
All right.
Remember, one more time then, since we're pimping PAX. Saturday, 8:30 is my Batman crowd play. Come hang out and then go get drinks with me afterwards. Sunday at noon, Danny's Witcher panel. Sunday at noon, Greg signing at the Rooster Teeth booth. Sunday at 5, my cancer panel. Don't miss it. Also, I'm going to tweet out about this later, but do you make internet videos? What are you doing Sunday at 5? Every one of our people is going to Hawaii or some other vacation. So I have no one to film my panel, and I'd like to get it up because so many people are asking about it. So if you have a camera and know how to work a camera, I'm going to bring one camera probably, but we should talk because I'd like to film this with 2 cameras, but I digress. Zach W. writes in to kindoffunny.com/ KFGD. It says, for one, Mr. Miller, after listening to you yesterday rip a new asshole into a listener for not having good questions.
Whoa.
Did you miss this?
Yeah.
Yes, it was all in tongue-in-cheek, Greg Miller, but it was a new segment at the end, Hard Truth with Greg Miller.
Okay.
Where this guy wrote it, he's like, I've written in 7 times, but you won't ask my question. So and I'm like, it's because it's a bad question. I'm just not doing it because it's not good. Like, what podcast do I listen to? I'm like, we've talked about this at length on many a show. Zach continues. I wanted to ask what questions you're looking for. Obviously, I'm assuming you want to present it in a readable and understandable format and probably have the question regard current events in the gaming stratosphere. However, do you want a question that's asked in a very flowery way or a question that provides or a question that provides examples? Do you want questions to use big, descriptive, and exquisite, well, you know you're testing me, exquisite words to enrich the question, or do you want a storybook question? I don't care what kind of question you ask. And again, yesterday it was tongue-in-cheek. Again, he wanted me to read it in the Angry Greg voice, then Angry Greg responded. We're all on the same page here. It's just the fact of if you write in 7 times and every time I'm going, no, because I read every question you send in. Probably not the right one. And like Games Daily is supposed to be about current events, current games, current news. What podcast we listen to has come up in AMAs on our channel, has come up on AMAs on Reddit, has come up on the Gamescast. I want you to be topical. I think you've seen me read giant diatribes. You've seen me read super short ones. If you make me laugh, it's usually a good sign. You'll get in there.
I feel like maybe my greatest skill in all of life is asking the right question on like podcasts and live streams.
Sure.
Not maybe when I'm on them.
Yeah.
But literally, I think the only reason I work in this industry is because when On the Spot was on GameSpot, I always got my fucking questions.
Oh, really?
Because and it was probably because I ended up like doing radio stuff, and it's the same mindset of like, they're going in this direction with the conversation. They're going to hit this point.
Yep.
They're looking for an excuse to say
it out there. You're getting it out there.
Soft lob that ball.
And that's
like,
the thing.
Tell me about multiplayer. What's the blah, blah, blah,
so
blah.
many people have been great about like the last 2 weeks of like, we're talking about Xbox. So here's Xbox and they're helping you.
Yes.
Like today, somebody's like, I've been on vacation, but I wanted to chime in on why I like, and I'm like, no. You missed it. Where the train is way past that stop.
Evergreen questions are generally not good for a news show. You want to be like super topical. And if you can get to the core, like find the thing that would be interesting to talk about, turn it into a question, and then throw it in, and keep it like short. I always feel like shorter emails.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Less flowery language, conversational.
I like that we've been real positive today. We're patting each other on the back. We're doing this. We're helping each other. I'm gonna jump over to the Silent Gamer.
Okay.
Who writes in to KFGD and says, "Morning, guys. Morning. Not sure if this should be on the morning show or the Games Daily, but I wanted to give a shout out to both IGN and Polygon launching original content for Facebook Watch. IGN has a Let's Play where Brian Altano is playing Mario plus Rabbids with the devs, and Polygon are doing by the way, singular. Polygon is doing a spin-off of its Monster Factory series where the McElroys make character creation monstrosities. I forget not everybody's watched Orioration, so maybe when I mispronounce the name on purpose, it doesn't go so far. Interesting how Facebook seems to be targeting video game publications to get original content on their system. Thoughts? Will this make a dent in YouTube? Were you guys approached? Thanks for the great work, the Silent Gamer. No, huge shout out to both of them for doing that and getting out there. Like so many people are doing. It was awesome when IGN got the XD Disney show.
Yes,
but with all due respect, IGN, who I love, obviously, when Waypoint had a thing,
right? When
Walker's like, we're gonna be on X, I was like, holy shit, that's fucking rad. Like that's IGN is this giant thing. You know what I mean? It's Snapchat. It's this. I expect them to go do stuff like that or this, but to see Waypoint and Patrick and like fucking Austin, you're like, that's rad. Good job, guys.
It's super cool. There was a big push for Facebook stuff about, I feel like 18 months to 2 years ago, when folks realized that the amount of views that were happening over there was absolutely insane.
Exactly.
The problem with them was monetizing them, and they didn't really have a very good way of doing it back then. But I like this stuff way more because I think content on that on Facebook needs to be like truncated and shorter and even shot differently as well. Yeah. In a way that they've both done that. Like when we were at GameSpot for a while, I think now they do custom stuff, but for a while we were just, and everyone was like basically just copy pasting stuff from YouTube on Facebook, and that doesn't really work.
Well, that's what you see IGN Snapchat and stuff, right? Where when they jumped in on that, you're like, what are you doing? And it's like, we're making a Snapchat team. We're going to make content just for, you're like, all right. And then you're like, oh, fucking, this is really good. Good job.
Yeah. But like, I think at GameSpot when I left, it was like maybe 1 or 2 people doing the Snapchat. We don't have the resources as IGN, whereas IGN had like a team of 15 people. And I was like, fuck, man. I think it was like a custom skin or app or something
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So I think IGN have always been like had the resources and definitely the adaptability to tackle this stuff.
Well, that was the thing is
properly.
when we were, I got to see both sides of it. Where when we were there and YouTube started, they were like, we're not putting fucking anything on YouTube.
Right.
That's going to eat the numbers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then we'd have these meetings of like, all right, well, .com traffic's down. Like people aren't coming to the .com, and then it was like, well, how are they getting it? They're going through Facebook, huh?
Yeah.
And then it was like, what if we got serious about all this, and then everything goes everywhere? And that's what IGN success they found. When I was there, and then after I left, it's not about getting people to IGN.com. It's about being everywhere that they are. And that's what, to Sonic Gamer's question here, like this Facebook Watch program they just announced, that was awesome. You can go read about it on both Polygon and IGN for what they're doing. Will it make a dent in YouTube? I don't know if it has to. Because again, the people who are on Facebook nonstop are on Facebook nonstop and probably getting more information through that than they are getting it through YouTube.
It's the #1 source for all fake news.
Yeah, that's true too. Where you guys approached, IGN and I had a brief conversation about me helping out and doing one of the interviews things, but the timetables didn't sync up. But I don't know about that.
I've talked to some folks over Facebook. The wonderful Sophia Tong, who is ex GameSpot.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I met at, where was it? I think it was at E3, and then she's at Facebook now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was at Twitch
fuck.
for a while on that team, and then she's at Facebook. So
Well, okay. Last time I talked to her, she was at Games Radar.
yes, editor over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and now she's doing a bunch of stuff on Facebook. So
That was one of
I'd love
those,
to do
those
stuff
criminal IGN things. We had her,
Which?
and she was brilliant.
Oh,
and
really?
All
She
we
was
had
at IGN? I didn't
All
realize.
we had her doing was
Before
this
GameSpot.
is when we were still at like 8000 Marina Boulevard in Brisbane.
Oh, right.
Where we had her at the desk in between the PlayStation Xbox team, and all she did, I think, was using Sorensen Squeeze to fucking compress videos so we could put them on our website. And she's like, "Hey, I'm really great at everything. Can I do other stuff?" And we were, and not me. I was the bottom man. I think Clement's probably just got there, so I had just gotten on him. But IGN was just like, "No, we don't have anywhere else to put you. This is what we have." And then she got the Games Radar gig and climbed the ladder there.
Yeah,
she went to
GameSpot.
She went to GameSpot, right?
And then she was basically like top of Games Radar.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. Yeah,
crazy
good for you,
stuff.
Sophia.
Yeah,
Miss you. I haven't talked to her forever.
Yeah, she was.
Time to squad up, Danny.
Let's do it.
This time, squad up, if you don't know, you write into kindafunny.com/KFGD. Give me your username, your platform, what game you need help with, and why. I read it here. The best friends find you. Everybody plays together, has a great time. But it's a little bit different today. That PR guy writes in and says, Greg, I'd like to directly address Tuesday's Squad Up segment regarding a unified Destiny 2 clan. My statement is thus, challenge accepted. All best friends playing at launch should join the official Destiny 2 clan by visiting kfbestfriends.com/destiny. Check out our banner. Made by yours truly, it has been described by adjectives such as dope and awesome. It has the kind of funny blue and the kind of funny pink for
nice.
both sides.
I like it.
Clans are limited to 100 players and spots are filling up. As mentioned on Tuesday, active players will be important to receive the new clan rewards. Because of this restriction, we ask that you only join the clan if you will be active during next week's launch. If the clan fills up, inactive players will be removed periodically to make room for the best friends. Battle.net players, don't fret. We'll open up inactive spots come October, so you're able to join in on the fun. Regardless of whether you're in the clan whether you're in the clan, you can also see the clan's description at kfbestfriends.com/destiny to join the affiliated Bungie.net group and/or Discord server, kindoffunny.com/discord, which have no player limits and will help you find more people to play with. As you can see, for all your Kind of Funny Destiny 2 needs, visit kfbestfriends.com/destiny. So, Greg, was the challenge addressed to your liking? It was. I didn't like that it wasn't Kind of Funny branded, so I made my own clan, just Kind of Funny.
Right.
But I'll let you fill this one up, and then also we'll see how much I'm actually going to play. Because I was like, oh, make a clan. I jumped in, I'm like, there's a lot I can make admins and mods and shit on this. This is like, I'm never going to manage this.
I'm never starting up a PHP BB board.
Exactly. I'm never actually going to be here for this. So go get them, everybody. Play with the best friends. Danny?
Yes, sir.
What did we get wrong today?
2 things. Biathlon is the sport involving cross-country skiing and target shooting.
Okay.
Biathlon.
Biathlon.
I love how it's literally just ski and then shoot.
Yeah.
They should ski and shoot at the same time. It wouldn't have to be an athlon then. It could just be ski shooting.
Sure, that's true.
You shoot the other skiers. 2 people going down a hill.
Do you remember that
one bullet each?
Do you remember that old SNL skit? There was one of those coming off of the Olympics. It was a Rob Schneider one. And it was right after whatever Olympics it was. Must have been late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
And I guess what happened is
Calgary,
in
probably,
this one of the athletes had accidentally shot the other guy in the face.
Oh no!
And so Rob Schneider played the guy who got shot in the face, and I think he got a bronze, or he was acting like he had a bronze. I don't know, but it was like the gold medalist from figure skating, this blah blah blah, and they kept asking these questions and going down the line, and the final one was like, any regrets in this figure skaters? I wish I would have done this, blah blah blah, and then they got Rob Schneider. He's like, I wish I had entered the Olympics. Like, fucking great.
I believe the Calgary Olympics is the only Olympics that has ever where the city has come out in profit, because they basically had all of the infrastructure in place beforehand.
Yeah.
So there you go. Good job, Canada.
One more, a brand new segment for you. There was one more wrong.
Yes, one more. When talking about the I Am 8-Bit Street Fighter 2 release, Danny said, guess we know what SNES game, sorry, I should just say SNES, game of the year is, seemingly implying that it was the only SNES game coming out this year. Star Fox 2 is releasing on the SNES Classic for the first time ever, and if you don't want to count that, since it's technically not a real SNES, a fighting game called Unholy Night, The Darkest Hunter, was released on the SNES this year. The SNES Game of the Year debate could get heated. Also, Cheetos are cheese puffs.
Thank you. That's correct. They are.
I agree.
Thanks. We did pretty well today. Final segment's a brand new one. It's called Destiny Loves You, as if that PR guy killing it and setting up kffbestfriends.com/Destiny, a clan you can join to play with other Kind of Funny Best Friends, wasn't enough. And again, no insult, because I made the other one, because I'm never gonna let it. I'm never gonna let people in. It's too much work. But maybe I'll just let Andy in. Maybe I'll use it. You know what I mean.
Just you.
Just me. Just me. This one comes from Ryan, but you might know him as Clarky7163 on Reddit.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
More of a follow-up to yesterday's question about games and their communities, and more specifically with Destiny. For reference, I am one of the subreddit moderators for Destiny the game, and this is where it's Clarky7163 is my username. And I felt, as I was listening, the urge to reach out to anyone worried about missing the boat on the Destiny community. The Destiny community has become something I never thought possible back in late 2014. When reviews dropped and the floodgates opened, I thought that this was the end for Destiny and almost gave up. However, I quickly found that in places like Reddit, Twitch, and YouTube, there was this persistent, slowly growing group of players who actually were playing just like I was. I found r/Destiny the game subreddit when it was around 60,000 subscribers strong, and managed to make my way into the mod team just before we hit 80K. Since then, the community has only gotten bigger and better, and with Destiny 2, it seems we're finally about to break out of the ruins that the original Destiny began as. As of this writing, we're about to hit 360,000 subscribers, and I can only imagine that number breaking 400,000 by Christmas. So to anyone watching, I won't speak for all gaming communities, but I feel my unique position allows me to speak for Destiny's. Please do not be afraid to jump into this universe at any time. In about 16 years of dedicated gaming, I have never had this sort of feeling of community with a game. It's something I thought was reserved for the special relationships like the best friends. It truly does feel like a family. See you Starside, hopefully, Ryan, aka Clarky7163. A damn fine letter. That's what Kind of Funny Best Friends are all about. KF Best Friends /Destiny. That's what Destiny's all about. Congratulations. Everybody, let's play some games and have a good time. See you at PAX and stuff like that. Remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Tomorrow, Tim will host. It goes up on a variety of platforms. You can watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You can get it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You can get it on podcast services around the globe, no matter where you get it. Thank you for getting it. Thank you for supporting it. We love and appreciate you very much. Danny, safe travels.
Safe travels too.
I'll see you in Seattle.
Yes, see you in the Emerald City.
The Emerald City.
Oh, the Emerald City.
Oh, woo! Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.